Good evening, everybody. The Music Fan is back, bringing smiles to the faces, knowledge to the people, and most importantly, music to the masses. Hope everyone had a wonderful new year and a great start to the new year in the new decade. I still have a few other album reviews that I want to go over within the next couple of weeks before I do my top 50. It gives me a little bit more time to finalize everything and get it out to you. I am super excited about going over that top 50, by the way. Just a quick preview. I think this year's top 10 is the strongest one that I have seen throughout the decade. But that's just a little teaser for you. Anyways, tonight I am back with another Are You In? And tonight we are taking a look at the newest Coldplay album entitled Everyday Life. Coldplay, the pop rock, alt rock, post-Brit pop band from London, England. Members including Chris Martin on lead vocals, piano, rhythm guitar, keyboards, mandolin, and harmonica. Guy Berryman on bass, backing vocals, keyboards, mandolin, and harmonica. John Buckland on lead guitar, backing vocals, keyboards, and piano. Will Champion on drums, percussion, backing vocals, guitar, piano, and keyboards. And Phil Harvey as the creative director, the newest member of this band. Previous albums include Parachutes in 2000, A Rush of Blood to the Head in 2002, X and Y in 2005, Viva La Vida or Death and All of His Friends in 2008, Miles I Lotto in 2011, Ghost Stories in 2014, and A Head Full of Dreams in 2015. Yes, Coldplay, the polarizing band from the 2000s and 2010s. Some people love them, some people hate them. Me personally, I fall a little bit in the middle. I think A Rush of Blood to the Head is a phenomenal album. Yes, everyone talks about Clocks from that particular album or The Scientist, but there's still some great songs like Amsterdam, A Rush of Blood to the Head, Daylight, that makes it one of the more complete rock albums of the 2000s. Parachutes is no slash either. A great debut album from the band that doesn't necessarily show off Chris Martin as the strongest vocalist, but still shows that he has a lot of potential. Songs especially like Sparks. X and Y, an album that I didn't really get to listen to much of, but I know that there are still some great songs like The Speed of Sound and Talk. But after we get past those three, this is where the band starts to take a little bit more of an art rock turn and more of a pop rock turn. And I can understand from there where people start to dislike this band. Me personally, I think Viva La Vida or Death and All of His Friends is a phenomenal album. I know that Viva La Vida was played to death throughout its time, but there's still a lot of really solid songs on there like Strawberry Swing, Violet Hill, or Lovers in Japan that are absolutely gorgeous to listen to. It is, at that point in time, the most beautiful album that they had done. And Miles I Lotto is a little bit of a forgotten album for them, but one that I think still is very strong. I would definitely put in the top 5 of their albums. It has a lot of really colorful and really artistic ideas, and it has this interesting storyline about rebellion and fighting back against a world that without music that shows off the more imaginative side of this band. Yes, there are some lackluster songs on the album, but Charlie Brown is great. Paradise is great. Overall, it's a really imaginative album. Honestly, one of the better ones of the 2010s. Ghost Stories and A Head Full of Dreams, honestly, I could do without. I don't really remember them much, and I know that this is where we start getting the more poppy version of Coldplay, and I think that's where some people got turned off from this band. Meaning that this band, honestly, other than Miles I Lotto, didn't have a great 2010s. So it was interesting to see that they came back at the end of 2019 to close off the decade. I thought that they had broken up. I had no idea that they were coming back. So when I saw that they were putting out Everyday Life and not only making it one album, but a double album, I was really excited to see what they could do. It's been a while. Could they actually ring out the decade with something great? Can they have positive momentum for whatever else they want to do with this career? Whether that means that this is the last album that they go, or if they are now starting again with new ideas. I found everything to be really exciting, and of course, I was going to check this out. Fortunately, this came out a little bit later than expected for me, but I have a lot of ideas on this, so bear with me. So the first thing to know about this album, it is 16 songs, but under an hour's length of material. Now that could be one of two things. We could either have a lot of great songs that just don't need a lot of time to espouse their ideas, or we're going to have a lot of interesting ideas but just not enough length for them to be memorable. And it kind of is a hit or miss with this album with that. The coolest thing about this, though, to me, is that there's so much diversity on this album. And I think the reasoning for that is because of the subject matter of this album. This album is talking about the everyday life of people around the world. And it deals with a lot of different topics. Many topics on this album deal with issues that are going on in the world. From Trouble in Town, which is talking about how minorities are treated in Western countries, especially by the police, to daddy issues on the song Daddy, where it's not having a great relationship with your children because you're either away because of work, because of structural racism, taking fathers away from their kids, or because of just being a deadbeat dad. Just how the familial relationship is important, and sometimes it can't be the perfect relationship that you would like. We also have a song about guns and gun violence on the song Guns. We have a song about the Syrian civil war on Orphans. We have the song about the beauty of Africa and how it compares to the rest of the world on Echo. We also have songs about dealing with suicide and depression on Champion of the World. But most of this album is talking about making a change, being there for others, understanding that people go through the same thing no matter the race, the sex, the religion, and trying to be better. But also relying on faith and friends and family and loved ones to get you through the day and help you be a better person and to help make the world a better place. Those being Church, Broken, Way of the World, Power of the People, Arabesque, When I Need a Friend, Cry, 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 Old Friends, Children of Adam, and Everyday Life. This band is tackling something that they've never really tried to tackle, which is talking about more real world events. And I think they do a pretty good job. Do they get down to the nitty-gritty of everything? No. But talking about these subjects in the certain light that they do borders on some very powerful moments. And combined with this very diverse sound makes for a very memorable album from them. The other really cool part before we get into the songs is I really enjoy the stripped down sound of this album. This isn't as bombastic as a lot of their previous albums. Sure, you get some songs that do border on that electric pop and more pop rock. Both Church and Orphans definitely feel like they could have been on Milo Xyloto. Orphans honestly being the better of the two. I love the solid bass line, and I really enjoy this infectious chorus. In terms of lyrical content, I find it very interesting. I know when Anthony Fantano talked about it on his review, he was saying that it feels a little bit out of place. Why are they talking about wanting to get drunk with your friends? And I think he kind of missed the point on that. I think from what I'm reading, the idea of this song is from the eyes of two refugees in the Syrian civil war that are trying to make it out alive. And they are just hoping and wishing that someday the peace will return and that they can go back to having fun with their friends and getting drunk with their friends and enjoying their lives. I think that was the point of that particular line. It's not a disconnect. It's more of a connection of how everyone would feel in that situation of wanting life to return to normal. So I find that very poignant on a beautiful song. We also do get Champion of the World, which feels really perfect for X and Y. It has a little bit of a speed of sound vibe, but it's a little bit slower, and that last chorus, absolutely heartbreaking. For those of you who don't know, Champion of the World features Scott Hutchinson, and the lyrics are a tribute to him after he committed suicide. It's absolutely powerful. Definitely a great addition to this album. There's also some other great touching moments on this album. Trouble in Town is very minimal, has this great electric vibe that grows to a crescendo with this kind of like up-tempo jazz ballad at the end. I dare you to listen to this and not get affected when they have the exchange with the police officer and the person of color that is talking to them, and just how harsh it is. Unfortunately, this version doesn't seem to be on the YouTube one, and I don't even know if they have it on the Spotify one anymore, but check it out. That brings so much more meaning to what this song is, and it gives this crescendo a place to go. Daddy is absolutely heartbreaking. It is one of their most beautiful piano ballads that they've ever done. The so far away. The chorus is absolutely gorgeous. I love the actual piano work, and it makes for a very heartbreaking and moving song. Arabesque feels a little bit like a Sting song, has a really jazzy vibe with a nice alto sax solo later on in the song. It feels a little bit long because of the lack of movement other than the sax solo. The melody isn't that amazing because there isn't much of one, but another solid idea from this band. Guns, absolutely killer song. I love the guitar, acoustic guitar vibe, and the breakneck speed, making this for one of the more hectic songs on the album, even though it isn't one with a lot of arrangement to it. Also one of the better choruses on the album. I love the shot to stop. Echo is also pretty as well, with the flowing piano and guitar lines. Not hugely memorable other than that beauty though, unfortunately. Cry Cry Cry, this updated Motown bluesy vibe. Really enjoy the piano on this song. It doesn't have a lot of fills, but it has a really nice bounce to it, and I love the color of the chords. Also, a really cool thing about it is Jacob Collier is on this particular song, adding some pitched up vocals to it. It's one of the few times that he works on this, but it's really cool to see that he is working with Coldplay on this album. Chillin' with Adam, absolutely gorgeous piano ballad. One of Coldplay's best piano work on here. It transitions into this full band piece with some spoken word that isn't as tight, but it's still really nice and atmospheric, and it transitions into Champion of the World. Then we get Everyday Life, which is the closers on here. It's a little bit more understated than expected, especially with this vibe of the album. I would feel like it would be a little bit bigger, but it's still really beautiful, and it has this sullen vibe about getting into an actual apex. It just wish it didn't conclude so early, because the ride itself is a gorgeous touch. However, with all the varieties, some of them don't pan out because some of these turn into interludes or not fully fleshed out ideas. Broken is this gospel interlude, which is fun, but doesn't add much to the album. Weight of the World, Power of the People, sweet acoustic guitar interlude, but the mixing is so muddled that's really hard to understand Chris Martin's vocals. When I Need a Friend, it's this nice choral arrangement that feels more like an interlude. And Old Friends, sweet as well, another acoustic ballad. However, the melody isn't as interesting, and it feels a little bit clunky at times. The ending chord progression is really solid though, and I really enjoy the guitar work on here, especially the finger-picked ideas. I understand why Broken and When I Need a Friend are there. The way I see it, I think it's an interpretation of more African American looks at religion versus more European looks at religion, where Broken is this gospel interlude that you definitely could hear at a black church, whereas When I Need a Friend feels a little bit more like something that you would see at, say, a white church, if you will. And I guess from there, I could make the inference and say it's because no matter if you're black or white or any color, everyone needs a friend, and everyone needs to feel like they have a place in the world, and everyone needs some spiritual healing at times. So I get that, but to me they just aren't the most memorable arrangements. That being said, I really enjoyed this album. Yes, there are some songs that don't feel like they are fully fleshed out and felt like they could have been a little bit longer. Guns comes to mind on that one. But overall, the album itself is really diverse. It shows off the band and their musical ability rather than making it more pop again. And because of that, this comes off as sincere. It sounds like they put the time and effort into it, and makes the message that much more important. The diversity in the sound, the diversity in people, the diversity in religion, in faith, in color, in gender, in everything. And especially with the new decade finally upon us, a lot of crazy things still left to be taken care of. And the crazy things that happened in the 2010s, especially the last 4 years, this is a much needed album. Yes, they could have gone a little bit deeper on some songs. Yes, they could have gone a little bit deeper on some of the topics. But overall, I love the vibe of this. I love the idea. I love the sentiment. And it's just a shame that not enough people are talking about this in their top 50s. This is definitely going to make my top 50. Great comeback album from this band. This album deserves a full listen. I really hope that this isn't the last album that they do, because I would love to see what else we can get from this band. This is only hopefully a stepping stone to the next part of their career. But if this is the last album that they do, I really appreciate it. It was a well-needed album to end the latter half of 2019. But that is my time. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you love or hate this album and your reasons why. Let me know other albums from 2019 you'd like me to listen to, share this with your friends, and most importantly, subscribe to my channel. That way I know that you enjoy what I'm doing and want to see this channel become bigger and better for the future. I'll be back later on with another Are You In? Until then, this is Music Fan, and I'm signing off.